Okay, you're all very welcome to House 62. We're going to learn how to make mandazis. The reason we're making mandazis, it doesn't even take 15 minutes, 10 minutes before you do it. Anybody can do it, it's foolproof. As long as you know what to do and what to add together. So, let me make it very easy. If you want to make mandazis, you see this purple, the self-raising fortified wheat flour is the easiest actually, because the baking powder is mixed for you, so you don't have to do any mixing or measuring. I'm not a measuring person, I measure by eye, so I hope you all get what I need to do. Okay, so we got our bowl, we got to mix, but you can use anything, not metal. I've got a cup of water. Water is very good for mandazi because when you put cold water, it makes it crispy. We've got cinnamon to taste. You can do different spices. Different people do different spices. A spoon to measure. We've got 2 eggs. You don't have to add eggs, but when you add egg, it becomes fluffy. You will see that. Sugar, for those who want sugar, you can replace with honey if you want. Milk, I personally love low-fat milk, but of course you can put any milk. And we've got our oil to fry. Okay, so let's start. What do we start with? We do 2 eggs in here. Don't throw the eggshells away. Throw them in the garden. You crush them and throw them in the garden. And this goes back into the soil. We'll recycle everything. Okay, then we have sugar. For those who don't eat sugar, don't look. Too much sugar. Okay, sugar I should measure with a cup. Normally measure 3/4 of this cup, but I don't. I measure with the eye. Don't die. It's not so bad. So 3/4 of a cup sugar. So you mix the sugar with the egg. Yeah. Then you do the liquid first. You do the cup of water, which we said is very good for making it crispy, and you add a bit of milk if you want. Some people don't add milk. Some people just a little bit. That's like half a cup. And then you mix it. It's easier to mix the liquid first, and then you will have all the spices, everything mixes well if you mix it in the liquid. If you mix it in the flour, then you have to mix it a lot before you even start adding liquid, and that's hard work. Okay, so we have a spoon of cinnamon that we've added in here. Alright, so we have all the liquid, we mix it. It doesn't have to be perfectly mixed, as long as you know that it's mixed well enough, and then you start adding the whey. So this, I would add approximately 6 cups of flour, this flour, and it depends. Some people want, see, we don't throw away, we recycle. Some people want dropped scones, you know, like you just drop it in the hot air. Some people want the mandazis like bread-ish. It depends on what you want. So if you want them solid, you add more flour. If you want them more fluffy and more, I don't know, like, you know, mandazi is different in different ways. So I'd love, especially the boys, to learn this, because this is so easy. You do this very, very easily, and it doesn't, it's quite simple, and you can impress people. People come to your house and you say, oh, let me make a snack, and you make mandazi. It's better than Friday. Not that Friday is bad, but it's easy. So you see, we're mixing, and the more you mix it, the more air you get in, the fluffier it gets. So I will keep mixing. I'll mix for 10 minutes. So when I mix, if you could bring the camera nearer, you see we still have lamps. So you have to keep mixing until the lamps go. How many minutes has that been? 3, 4? It's not a long time. So when people come, you can give them some lovely hot mandazi. So you see, the more you mix, the broader your mixing thing, the easier it is to mix and have it done quickly. Some people have a mixer, you can do that. I personally feel, well, you can use a mixer if you want, if you're good. You can use a mixer. There's nothing wrong with using a mixer. Okay, so you see, that's dropping, but it's still a bit watery. So let's add a little bit of flour. Some people want it actually really, like chapati, they make a thick dough and cut it up and deep fry it. That's not what I'm teaching you today. You can do that. The more flour you add, of course, the easier it gets. Okay, so as we mix this, I'll put the oil on. We've got a pan. This pan is older than my oldest daughter. Then we put the oil in. You start heating the oil. There is a tip with cooking. It's not the fire. We have a saying in Uganda that it's not the fire that cooks the food. So we are going to heat this. And when it becomes hot, we will start doing the mandazis. See, it's less than 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So while it's heating, you can just mix this up. Like you're doing ugali, but it's, this dough. And you mix always from the bottom. Always from the bottom. Always from the bottom and mix. Always from the bottom. You always make sure there's air in between, yeah? So this is still dropping, but it's the consistency I want. Some people want it thicker, don't know, yeah, but I want this. And if you look properly, most of the lumps have gone. The more you mix, the less lumps you have, yeah? Okay, so we're going to wait for the oil, and then we'll do our mandazis. How long has that taken us? Minutes, just a few minutes. Okay, so I've got 2 spoons that I'm going to use to scoop and put in here. How do I know that the oil is hot enough? When we were younger, we used to be, it was very dangerous, and don't try this at home. We just drop a drop of water. That's naughty. You don't do things like that. Okay, so you wait for it until you're sure it's hot. How do I know it's hot? I'll do this. And of course, if it fries kidogo, then it's not yet. Still at the bottom of the pan. When it lifts, then you know that the oil is ready, and then you start cooking. Why? Because oil is raw, it has that raw smell. When you put food in oil, it becomes soggy if the oil is not hot enough. When it's hot, see, it's beginning to float, that means it's heating. So when it comes up and starts frying, then you know that the oil is ready. And sometimes the oil changes color. You can't say it with this pan color, but we will wait a bit. This is the bit we threw in. When it starts sizzling, then we know that it's ready. Okay, and in a few minutes we'll have our mandazis. I'd love feedback on, this is dangerous, don't do that. I'd love feedback when you make your mandazis, for you to say, Miss, I added this. Some people add more spices. There's this spice in, what's it called? Like there's spices that are really, pilau spices are very good for mandazi. You can add them. Not get the whole pilau thing and add it, but you can use the grains. When you grind them, it's always better than using the powder from the thing. Okay, so this one's starting. We are going to start doing our mandazis. So you get this, and when you finish using things, you soak them. You don't just dump them in the sink. When you soak them, they're easier to wash. There's nothing in there. soak with water, and now add start. Okay, so I've got a spoon, scoop, put it in, scoop, put it in. So these are the ones I love to make when you suddenly get visitors, and then you, that smells really nice. So when you get visitors and you start doing mandazis, they will become nice and brown and crispy. Sorry, you won't be able to eat it. If you're in Savo next year, probably you'll be here making this yourselves. I won't be helping you. Okay, and then you cook. You put as many as you can. Remember, they always expand, so you have to be very careful. Yeah. Okay, so in the end, we'll see. Yeah. Okay, so how many are these? Just scoop and put them in. And the hotter the oil, when it becomes extremely hot, then you make it less hot. But so they need to be swimming. They shouldn't be at the bottom. They always need to be swimming. That means they have enough oil. If you put mandazi and they sink to the bottom, that means your oil wasn't hot enough. It always has to be hot enough. See, they're beginning to become bigger. So you just look after them. You always look after your food, and then it will look after you. Yeah. So we fry these. See, they're beginning to expand. And the edges, these little edges that stick out, when you fry them, they become crispy. So we soon have a batch of mandazi, and we'll be eating. So as you see this one's heavy. That means the dough is sitting inside, and if you're not careful, it will be cooked on top, but it will be raw inside. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to brown them until they're really brown, and then you put them in a dish or in a bowl, or whatever you want to. It's really lovely. It's something you can do so quickly, even when the visitors have just come. Just say, okay, I'll make some tea quickly. You fry mandazi quickly, and then you make this, and everybody lives happily ever after. Another thing you can use is, I'm not into animal fat a lot, but people use animal fat. I always use vegetable fat, like sunflower oil or sesame oil, not olive oil. It's too heavy. See, they're beginning to brown, but the oil is also becoming very hot. So you have to be very careful to turn them around. Keep moving them so that they don't burn. And after they become brown, really brown, you remove them, and you will have a look at the first batch. See, because the oil is not so hot, the mandazi in the middle gets the chance to just ooze out and be fried. See that? Okay, and then we'll have that. Make it less hot. And let it fry. Ita fry sana. Ita fry sana. And then you make mandazis, surprise your parents, and then you will be lovely. Yeah, I know that a lot of people have mandazis. It all takes different forms and sizes and shapes, but it's still mandazi. Some love it sweet, some have it actually savory without any sugar or very little sugar. Some make it really rich, you know, like a cake dough, but with a lot of flour. I find that too rich. And just want it really, you know, not very heavy, just mandazi. So these are the little crispy ones. When you have little brothers and sisters and you're sending them to do work, you tell them, eat that and go and get me a cup of water. Something like, I'm not teaching you bad manners. Okay. Alright. So see, they're becoming browner and browner. You can have them light brown, you can have them dark brown. See, this came from the mandazi inside. And now it's frying. It's quite important that it gets, because it's got egg, you always have to be careful that it's all well cooked. Alright. Ooh, we're going to eat mandazi. Hot mandazi! Always good to eat. It's always lovely when you cook and people like things. So it's a good thing to learn to cook mandazi. Brian, do you know how to make mandazi?
I'm learning.
He's learning. See, Brian's learning to make mandazi. Yeah. Okay. So we probably 8 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes is too long. You just fry them and then make sure they are brown, and then you put them in this container over here. See, this, I love this when they start splitting. And then you eat them and they're nice and crunchy. Of course, they're crunchy because you put water. Hot water, cold water. Okay, so our first batch is almost finished. So I'll put this to the side. And we will, normally you put kitchen paper or anything in here to catch the oil, but because the oil has been hot, I normally don't worry about that. Okay, so we've got our mandazis. The reason I put a big dish is because we intend to fill this one. Yeah, a bowl. We intend to fill this one, and they keep sizzling in the bowl. And then after this, some people put cinnamon with sugar on top, but that's too sweet. You can just eat them this way. Woo! There you go. I have no cat. Yeah. Okay, so these are the ones we've done. Okay, so these are ready. I'll put this off. Yeah, I'll put these off and we'll test them. To your visitors, they'd be really, really hot. So we'll try one. Wow, so when you break it, see, it's really nice and lovely. It's hot, and you take these from here 10 minutes to the table, and everybody is happy ever after. The end. Alright, thank you for listening. I hope you can make better mandazis than I can do. Thank you very much.